can often think about three ways we address or approach any situation. Strategically, as you suggested, Bill, tactically, right? But then we have something in the middle, which is the operational level, right?
Okay.
We don't often think about those levels consciously, but we do kind of act accordingly. And when we think about strategy, whether we're solving a specific business need or a requirement, or we're figuring out the best way to get to work without getting stuck in traffic, right? Anything in between. It kind of applies across the board. You know, we want to try to remove ourselves from the moment and really think more broadly about the choices, the decisions, the opportunities, right, that we may address and the best path to get there. But we want to think beyond the immediacy of the particular issue and see all those additional connections, dependencies, things that feed into it as variables. That's really what strategy should help us to do. That broad, big picture people are always talking about, but we never seem to bring into focus. When we think operationally, we're thinking about, you know, how we make that strategy, those really big picture thoughts, become more tangible, more realistic, more manageable. Managing being a key word when we think about operational activities, because we want to start scoping and tailoring. We want to be able to streamline and really think about how we can take these grand ideas that strategy provides us with and bring them down to earth, kind of the 25,000 foot versus 50,000 foot level view, you know, slowly but surely closing in, so that instead of saying we want to move to the cloud, if that's our strategy, we begin operationally to say, what is it going to take to move to the cloud? Who's going to be involved? And what should we be thinking about? And how are we going to begin to not only plan, but ultimately execute those activities? And then finally, as we think about tactical, it's really about that ground level view, right? It's that rubber meets the road thought process we often talk about. It's the execution of the strategy with the guidance of the operational thoughts that have helped us to narrow and ultimately focus our activities. And so it's about process and procedure. How are we going to do things, and what is it that we're going to do? And as we take those together, kind of mix them up and use them to guide our activities, when I meet with customers, when I talk to students, peers, colleagues, people like you, as we chat, you know, I try to remind them that when we get stuck thinking about only one of the three pillars, right, we do ourselves, and by extension, everybody around us that relies on us, a disservice, because we're not seeing a complete picture. We're really only talking about one way in which we can envision, perhaps then tailor it to get a one-size-fits-one as we move to operationalizing and ultimately executing, right, to get to that solution. We only see a very small piece of the whole puzzle, and we often make the mistake of thinking that's what we need to focus on, that's the immediacy, when it's all three that really come together to help us to solve problems.